Hi, I'm Tim Peterson. This is David Telfer at Robot Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Today we're going to go over a simple choke, a cross choke from the mount. We're going to try and get all the details in to make it real effective for you guys. So the first thing we're going to do, we're starting in the mount. And the idea I want you guys to keep in mind is that as I move through this technique, my control over him should improve throughout the whole move. So if you get to a step and you feel your opponent starts to escape, or you feel like you're losing control, you need to back up and check your previous step before you move on. That's why people lose the mount, is they try to choke, they rush the submission, and then they get thrown off or the guy hip escapes. So first things first, we're going to start in a good controlling mount. I create grapevines with my legs, hooking his feet, and I base wide. Now, I want to make it so that he can't bridge in both directions. I want to cut that off. So I'm going to use my chest to turn his face away from me. Now my hands are still basing, and I can start to control him here. I'm going to take my left hand, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to take my left hand and put my thumb in the back of his collar here. Now I can replace my chest pressure with my shoulder pressure here. All right. Once I've done that, replace my pressure here, I'm going to then bring my left knee up into his armpit so that my elbow and knee are very close together. This traps his right arm and prevents him from blocking my choke with that right arm. Once I've done that step, I can take my right hand off the floor, and I'm going to use that to get a lapel grip on the far side here. Okay? And I don't just want to pop up and stick my hand in here. His hand's going to be able to fight. It upsets my base. It's just generally a bad idea. Instead, I'm going to back up just a little bit and put my elbow on my hip and my hand right on his chest. This way, if his hand does get in the mix and he starts to block, I can put my hip behind my elbow and drive my hand in place. He can't stop my hip and my arm, but he will be able to stop just my arm. So right here, I've got a deep grip in his lapel. The most important thing about this grip is that my wrist is totally straight and I make a fist. My hand can't be open at all, and my wrist can't be bent. The choke won't work if either of those are the case. So here, I come up just slightly, bring my hand in, elbow on my hip, drive it deep, straighten out my wrist, turn it in slightly, and now I'm going to put all of my weight onto my elbow here. This creates a lot of pressure on him, and it maintains my control over him, even though neither of my hands are on the floor now. Now the key here is I can't let his arm get underneath my elbow here. That's why it's very important I maintain a connection between my hip and my elbow. If there's even a little bit of space, he'll swim inside, and now I have to work really hard just to get back to the choking position. So we're going to keep this really tight. I'm now going to bring my right knee into his armpit, just like I did on the left side, and if we turn, you can see that both of my feet are now on his hips. Okay, this allows me to continuously drive forward over him. Now to finish the choke, I'm just going to shift my thumb slightly to my right, so it was under his head. Now it's closer to his shoulder. I'm going to circle my elbow around. It's still my base on the floor. As soon as my elbow comes off the floor, my forehead will be very close to the floor. Right here. To finish, I turn both wrists in and pull my elbows up, and he'll tap. It's very important you maintain an X shape with your arm, and you try to choke your opponent under your hips instead of far away from you. So one more time, the entire movement. We have a good mount here. We have a good base. I turn his face, thumb in the back of his collar. My left knee comes up to trap his arm on the outside. Then my right hand is going to go for the grip. Here. I drive it in deep, put all my pressure on his sternum. I'm going to bring my right knee into his armpit. Both my feet are now on his hips. Shift my thumb a little bit and circle around. Plant my head far over him, not next to his head, but far. Turn my wrists in, and get the tap. Okay. Hope that was useful. This is one of the best chokes to learn in Jiu-Jitsu. If you're always going for a cross choke from the mount, you'll end up practicing a lot of different things in Jiu-Jitsu, your sweeps, your guard passing, your takedown. If you only go for things like triangle chokes, all you'll ever learn how to do is play guard. So make the cross choke something you're always going for whenever you're playing Jiu-Jitsu.